What is going on, everybody? Is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today PFF dropped a brand new mock draft, so I am here to review it. If you are new, feel free to join the community, like, comment, subscribe. You guys know how to use YouTube at this point. If you guys are curious where my mock draft is, I just recorded a 3-round mock draft, and it's dropping tomorrow morning because there's no reason to drop it at 5 p.m. at night because y'all want to wake up to a good video. And I wanted to make sure that I got this out as well. So it's just a fun way to do all of this. PFF, what's up with this? Okay, they're getting free advertising on me. Their prices increase in 3 days. Whoop-de-doo. Honestly, I haven't refreshed the page in a hot minute. So Trevor Sikkema, he did this mock draft. So we could love Trevor Sikkema. Got to show some respect where respect is due, but let's check it out. Reading time, 10 minutes. We are going to take a lot more than that. But below my face is my board. It is 99.9% up to date. Pick number 1, we got Caleb Williams to... Ooh, bruh. Where's that? Okay. That's annoying. Oh, dumbass. Okay, so, yeah, Arizona Cardinals take Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to be the number 1 pick. I don't know. I have Arizona trading out of this spot as the only trade in my mock draft. And, you know, it just saves a little bit of the headache. But if the Cardinals are here and they want Caleb Williams, they're going to take Caleb Williams. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do it. He is unbelievable. He's just different. He really is. There's just nobody who's better than Caleb Williams that I've ever studied at that quarterback position by a good margin as well. Arizona Cardinals and also going Marvin Harrison Jr. So literally you have your duo for the rest of probably eternity, hopefully. So good duo. You've heard enough about them at this point. Everybody talks about Marvin Harrison Jr. and Caleb Williams. There's no real reason for me to talk about it. But the next 2 picks are tackles in Olu Fashanu and Joe Alt. I was trying not to spoil the next pick, but here we are. So I would do this in a reverse order because I think the Colts should probably value just getting a consistent tackle, not a super duper high upside tackle. I think Joe Alt is consistent, solid. He's just somebody who's really reliable, and that's what I want. Just protecting my rookie quarterback is not having to worry about developing the left tackle. Olu still needs a lot of development, but his maneuverability is ridiculous. Like, I don't know if I've seen very many, if any, tackles have the mirroring ability that this guy has. So I understand the love for Olu. The more I watched him, he did get injured in week number 1, but we'll definitely see what happens there because, you know, Olu does have a lot of really good traits, but at the end of the day, it's what you put on the football field that matters, not just who you are. I mean, like, stats, or not stats, but like, because again, 0 pressures, awesome, but it's what you put out on the field that matters. And he still gets pushed back, has a pretty poor anchor. Not an awful anchor, but definitely one that's suspect. Joe Alt is significantly better on that front. I wish he had a little bit more of the feistiness and the maneuverability of Olu Fashanu. Bucks then going Drake May. Yeah, May has some ridiculous passes where it just gets fit into a 1-by-1 box, and it's honestly jaw-dropping. But I have to be the voice of reason. He's still a top 32 player for me. Like, again, I'm not hating on him. I just have to be someone who calls out the negatives while also highlighting the positives. Drake May is extremely inconsistent with his placement still. He had a couple interceptions, and, you know, it has 1 turnover-worthy play, but I don't know. I watched the game, and I just was not that impressed. And, you know, he didn't have his top 2 weapons there, granted, but I feel like his weapons did a good enough job. I just wasn't jaw-dropped by Drake May the way a lot of people are. He's still a good quarterback. I'm not shaming him for that, but I think there's more than what meets the eye when it comes to how people evaluate Drake May. And maybe that makes me a hater. I didn't like CJ Stroud that much last year, and I came around to him a little bit at the end, but I still wasn't a huge fan of him. And, you know, I'm willing to stick my flag down and defend it until I'm proven wrong. But the thing is, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong because I'd much rather have Drake May be so good that we have another extremely talented quarterback that I'm excited about. Next 2 picks, we got the Rams going Jared Verse here. Ooh, Bo Nix. This high. I thought I was a little high on Bo Nix. Rams going Jared Verse is an excellent pick. They need to kind of hit on something for that defense, and, you know, they need it. He's ridiculous. It's a 16.7% pass rush win rate is not necessarily incredible. So I'm reading the statistic from the same paves that you guys are. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. He's still, like, when he generates those pressures, it's because of technique. It's because he just has an ungodly awareness of how to approach an offensive lineman. He has the highest pass rush grade out of anybody that I have graded at the edge rushing position this year. So he is really spectacular. Good job for Jared Verse. Bo Nix. Oof, I like Bo Nix. Like, don't get me wrong. I have him as my QB3. Like, again, he's QB3 here. I have him as QB3. It's just surprising to see someone else like him this much. It's like, intriguing. Bo Nix absolutely lit it up this season. Or, well, technically, yes. But the past game put up an 80 burger on the Portland State Vikings, which is kind of sad because two guys I used to play with play for Portland State, including one of the corners that got toasted by Troy Franklin a couple of times. So, sorry, Michael, but, it's okay. It's okay. Those guys are god tier. But Bo Nix, he just knows how to play the game of football. He's a really good quarterback. I'm not going to go super in depth because I'm going to have a quarterback video coming out in the next month or two that really dives into it, but I don't think the Raiders would be stupid for doing this pick remotely. Bears and going Latu. Just worried about that neck thing. Really worried about the neck thing. I don't think he converts speed to power very well. He just randomly has an extremely high pressure rate because he's super lanky. He has a lot of technique. He has a ton of talent. No one's doubting that, including myself. I am just a little bit worried about the health, and I want him to convert speed to power a little better. That alone could vault him up to edge number 5 for me. Easy. I love Tyler Barron, so it should be like edge number 4 compared to the consensus. Washington Commanders going Brock Bowers. I don't even need to describe that. Falcons going Michael Penix. I'm not going to spoil what I'm doing tomorrow, but it's of a similar fashion, but not Michael Penix. Michael Penix is doing a phenomenal job, though. Hopefully he stays healthy for the entire year, and that might put our worries about his injuries a little bit more to rest. But great quarterback. I think the Atlanta Falcons, if they're at 10, definitely are going to be needing to go after a QB. Then we got pick number 11. Kool-Aid should have gone earlier, but honestly, I don't think the Packers need a corner. But if you're at that spot and you have Kool-Aid on the board, you take Kool-Aid. You just do it. New England Patriots going Malik Neighbors, pairing him back up actually with his other former buddy from LSU, Kayshon Boutte. I'd personally be fine with that. Apparently, Juju Smith's knee is like a ticking time bomb, and that's really unfortunate because as a Steelers fan, I still have a little bit of affinity for Juju. And as a human being, of course, but like we're just talking about football here. They do need to continue bolstering that wide receiver room, and it's a good way to do it. I'm not super high on Malik Neighbors, but he's a fast guy who's really good after the catch. That's going to be an asset to the New England Patriots. Then you got the Vikings going Kalen King. That's an excellent move. I would debate going QB, but Kalen King, he's higher than the next QB I have, which is Joe Milton. You got the Bears going Leonard Taylor. Intriguing because they just brought on 2 interior defensive linemen. I'd be going after an edge rusher if I'm the Bears, and I'm double checking to see if he has gone edge rusher. He did with Latu, so I guess he already did. But another position, wide receiver, just because Chase Claypool's probably not going to be there. I'm not going to get mad by any stretch if they go Leonard Taylor here. But, I just don't really know if it's likely since they just drafted 2 pretty much in the top 65. Still a great player. And I think he could be a massive upgrade, but that's just because I was lower on the interiors that they got. Then you got Broncos, Barrett Carter this early. Intriguing. I'm a big guy on, Drew Sanders from last year. I don't really think they need to go after Barrett Carter necessarily. I'd potentially even go after a corner if I'm them at 15, but at the same time, the talent level is a little bit lower at this point. Edge rusher is potentially there. Tackle, Garrett Bowles was potentially traded. Wide receiver, they were looking to get rid of Cortland Sutton. So there definitely could be some spots to upgrade there for the Broncos. Texans going Keon Coleman. There we go. Excellent pick. So, again, I'm holding back where I took Keon Coleman in my draft, but, he is spectacular. And glad to have been on the hype train early. He was my number 33 player before this past week, number 20 this week. He just fits the exact NFL X-frame that you're looking for. And showed off. Good for him. And, the Texans would definitely need it. Steelers going Cooper DeJean. I love seeing this. I love it. Cornerback and safety. One, the Steelers can also use both, so I'm not going to get mad about it. And I just don't know if I could trust us to develop him properly into that. But I have my fingers crossed. At least we have a good veteran corner and a good veteran safety. So Steelers getting DB help, never a bad idea. Giants going to Emeka Egbuka. Dude, I felt so bad where I'm just going to spoil it. Emeka fell past 20 and it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I love Emeka Egbuka. Like, I have a huge passion for him. I'll scroll down so you guys get to see a little more on my board as well. And he just ended up sliding, and I couldn't stop it. I love Emeka Egbuka with all my heart. So seeing him go to the Giants is amazing. I can't get mad at it. New Orleans Saints going Chop. Interesting, because they did end up focusing on D-line pretty heavily in last year's draft. I would look at interior offensive lineman and wide receiver, maybe corner / safety as well. But I'm not a huge fan of Chop. Just got to say it. I don't like the inconsistency of his reps. And that could just be something that I get proven wrong on. And again, I'm excited to be proven wrong on players I don't necessarily have a huge affinity for. Seahawks going defensive interior is an A++ move. I'm not going to disagree. Jaguars going Graham Barton. I think it will kick to the inside, and I love it. I love it. So, yeah, I don't really have much to complain about there. That's an A+ move. I'm always going to be happy when the Jaguars get O-line, so yeah, it is what it is. Chargers going Chris Jenkins. I also fully support defensive interior for the Chargers, so J.C. Latham, fully support this one too. Obviously, Trevor is a brilliant man, so he's obviously one of the guys who I look up to in the industry, and for a good reason. Picks like this definitely reflect my drafting philosophy as well. No one's going to agree 100% on where you should go, who you should go, but defensive interior offensive line, and right tackle, that's where I go. So, yeah. Then we got, the Lions going Braylon Trice. Intriguing. I don't know if they want to go after another edge rusher. I'd probably try to value defensive interior at this spot, even though kind of took the top 3 guys off the board, so don't really have another big dude. But maybe right guard is a good spot. Corner, wide receiver. There's still Johnny Wilson. Just got to say that. There's Johnny Wilson. I love Johnny Wilson. But not going to complain about Braylon Trice because he's a top 10 player on my board. Ravens ain't going Amarius Mims, an A+ move. I don't think that they need to. Do they need to go after a tackle? I'm tripping. I don't believe that. But he is a freakish player. So I love Amarius Mims. I think developing him is not a bad idea. You're kind of just investing in the future rather than right now. Packers going Jordan Morgan. Not there personally. Because, again, ACL tear, I got to see who he is now, because that does affect your movement skills, especially as a big dude. But tackle is a good position to go for the Packers. Cowboys and going safety with Cameron Kinchens. I do like that. I love Cameron Kinchens, and he's a ball hawking machine. I think DB is a good position for the Cowboys to go. I'd prefer corner, but not going to complain about going safety. Bills and going Dallas Turner. Obviously, you guys know Dallas Turner is my edge one, but edge in general for the Bills, especially since they got rid of Boogie, could be a position they definitely look at with Von Miller getting older and older. Niners going Tyler Nubin. I like Nubin. He is, I remember watching Nubin, and I'm like, dude, this guy's a monster. And I was so surprised in a very thin safety class last year they didn't declare. I don't get it, but he's a top tier player, and he ended up showing out week 1. And Niners could use that help over Gibson. Then we got the Bengals going Jatavian. It's the easy guy to put in there, but I'm not necessarily a fan. I'm not a fan of Jatavian Sanders. He's still a good tight end, but I've been higher on a lot of tight ends than Jatavian Sanders. Then we got the Eagles going Mason Smith. That is an intriguing one. I would be really excited to see what they would do with Mason Smith, but I'd prefer to see them go after a bigger edge rusher. Then we end off with A.D. Mitchell. KC, they have a lot of guys who have size to them. I'd prefer to go after Justin Ross if I'm going to be KC trying to get a bigger receiver and just trying to hope that he ends up developing. I would go for that defensive interior, potentially without Chris Jones, or maybe even go offensive line with that tackle spot because I just still don't fully trust it, or go tight end, which not valuable in this draft at this point. It's not a bad pick by any stretch, but I just think that I have a little bit of a different valuation there. So that's going to be the video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Join the community. See you on the far side.